Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that text is unfortunately not updated, but welcome to Chicagoland Speedway. We are set here tonight for 120 laps. It's going to be a fun race, I think. I'm excited, and I think the drivers are too. We're going to continue to wrap up qualifying here. Then we'll get this race started. I just want to say again, thank you. Welcome to the stream tonight. Thank you for joining us. I think this is going to be an entertaining race. Last year we had a pretty decent finish to end with actually a 3 wide, which we can kind of go into here in a little bit. It was a 3 wide finish, but tonight I think we're going to see something similar. Kind of same track conditions. This track has a lot of multi-groove racing that you can kind of go out and explore. It's going to be kind of like a draft-ish track. Not necessarily a super speedway, but definitely not going to be a not going to be too spread out. We will have to watch for tire wear though. Alrighty, let's see if we can go down this rundown here quick. Apologies while I try and get this going. Alright, here's a look at our starting row. Got Cody Porter and Johan on this front row. Reese Schaefer, Joseph Kazi. Reese Schaefer, last week's winner at Long Beach Street Course. He's kind of been on a tear here with Joseph Kazi. Those two are going to be starting the second row, so not too far back like we saw Reese had this. Reese and Joseph kind of had a little bit of a deeper starting spot last week, so they're not going to have to deal with too much this week. Joseph Sullivan, he's going to be my pick and one to watch for tonight. He's been really consistent, and he's been able to finish in the top 5 almost every race so far. A few runner-ups, P3 finish as well, so that's kind of my secret, I think, driver that could be a threat here tonight. Johnny Evoli here. Bryce Shoemaker, Eric Garrison, row 5. Going a little bit further back, we got Justin Day here, Nick Wood, Rob Hamp. Going even a little back further, we're going to have Jim Foskett, Judson Curtis, Andrew Jones, Keith Shoemaker. He wasn't able to race last week, but he's back here now, so pretty stoked to see that. And then rounding out the field here in row 12 is Stefan Davis. So pretty decent field here, pretty large. I think there's going to be a lot of action here, a lot of strategy. We only have 2 sets of tires, which we can kind of go into here. So pit road speed 45 miles an hour, 2 additional sets of tires. We got a stage at lap 30. If we do get some early cautions, there's going to be a lot of strategy that you're going to see drivers take to either go for the win or go for stage points. You kind of can't really go for both. There's always going to be that one driver that's going to want to gain some advantage over the field. So if we do get an early caution before lap 30, that's going to be something that we're going to have to watch out for. It's pretty cool track. Over the previous few weeks, we've been at about 100 I'd say 15 range for track temp. Air temp also is a little bit cooler than what we've seen. So this is going to be a different different track conditions to what these drivers are used to, and it's going to be it's going to get a little bit cooler as this race goes on as well. So these drivers are going to have to adapt from what they've been accustomed to these past few weeks. All right, before we let these drivers go through here, we're gonna have to let this pace car roll off. Pace car is gonna take that hard left turn here into the restart zone. Green flag is out. I apologize, let me try and fix this real quick. Cody Porter with the jump here. He's going to be able to clear Johan and Reese here. Got a few side-by-side battles going back here for 4th and 5th place. Johan's going to be peeking to the inside here. Not quite enough to get underneath Cody Porter fully. Here comes Bryce Shoemaker looking to the inside of Derek Garrison. Side by side for the lead to the completion of lap 2 on this lap 3. Give that lap to Derek Garrison. Bryce Shoemaker on the high side of Derek M. Garrison here. So put Bryce Shoemaker to the lead now as he's going to lead lap 3. Still side by side for the race lead here. .63 of Johnny is going to go up and give Bryce a push right there. Wasn't enough, so Derek M. Garrison is going to be able to clear and return back to the lead here. Looks like Johan's got some blinking issues going on. That might be an issue for some drivers as well as Rob. We'll go a little ways back here. This second pack. These guys might be playing the save tire strategy a little bit. Trying not to use up their tires too much here. I'm assuming they're going to try and save enough so that they can stay out and possibly at the end of this first stage, which is one strategy that is probably not a lot of there's probably something that we won't see a lot of drivers do. I think a majority of these guys are planning on either pitting at the end of the stage or just taking fuel, so they're going to want to keep their track position. Again, the big thing here is going to be track position. Clean air is going to be really helpful on these long runs. much, especially when you get the clean air on the nose. It's going to help your car turn going into these high-speed corners. And if you're further back, if you're sitting in maybe a third or fourth behind 2 or 3 other cars, that's going to affect your handling by quite a bit. And what we see sometimes with this package is that when you're further down into the field and you get right up behind somebody, your car starts to push up the track. And then you have to jump out of the throttle, which is going to absolutely kill your momentum and possibly cause a wreck if you have other cars around you. So that's not good if you're trying to be there at the end. And we're going to have to watch these drivers save that right front. Continuing on here, 63 inside the 99 here, going to turn 1. Rob is going to hold his own on this high side, as well as Cody Porter and Bryce Shoemaker ahead of them racing for 3rd position. So give this a 4-car battle for P3. And that's going to put Bryce, he's going to be able to send it in there pretty deep and clear these guys. So for the moment, move Bryce up to P3. Going a little bit further back to these guys back here in this second pack now. Looks like these guys have mostly single filed out and aren't really wanting to be too racy too early on. Try and save those tires as best as they can. Again, the big thing here is going to be saving this right front. It's going to be the most worn tire here. You can wear out the right rear, but it's going to take some extra trying to do that. I also do not expect anybody to pit here in this first stage, because our pit window is about 40 to 45-ish laps. And again, our stage caution is at lap 30, the completion of lap 30. So that's about 10 extra laps on fuel that these guys are going to be able to get over that stage caution. So I don't see anybody pitting. You can't really make up a lot of time anyways if you do pit early. I think you would actually risk going a lap down here. Move Caleb Shelton up to the highest side. He's trying to make some progress. Looking high above the number 10 of Jordan Berry. Now to the outside of Joseph Causey. He said, all right, I've had enough waiting and sitting around, so he's going to try and move forward on this high side. Looks like the 63 in front of these guys is also using that higher side to his advantage by quite a bit. Looks like he, at least through 3 and 4 that time, was way up there. 1 and 2, as I say this, he's going to be using this lower line, but we'll see if he uses that higher side in 3 and 4. Looks like no. So the minute I say it, he's going to go back to the bottom side. Some of these guys look like they're getting antsy and wanting to gain a few positions. So Jim Foskett in that 47 is also going to be joining Caleb Shelton there on that higher side, trying to pass these guys riding on the lower side. Caleb Shelton's going to be able to clear Johan there in that inside lane. Now he's going to go to work on the 63 here. As well as Stefan Davis, he's also going up there as well. He's going to be to the outside of Reese Schaefer and get to the outside here off the exit of Johan. A little bit of a close call there with the wall. No harm, no foul though. Still side by side here. Not able to clear him quite yet. Now it looks like he will be. Caleb Shelton. Looks like he's looking to the inside here at Johnny in the 63. Thought about using that apron. Didn't quite make it work. He's going to go back to run the high side here. Like the 47 behind him almost had a close call there with the wall. Just about hit it. Not quite. But that was fairly close for... I'm sure if you're in the cockpit there and being a driver, that was probably too close for comfort. But he was able to keep it off there and continue on with trying to defend off the 60 car here. To move the 60 around the 47. Now Caleb Shelton going to work on the 63. He's going to clear him pretty easy there on the high side, as well as the 60. That's going to move the 47 to be the next one up here in the 40 or the 63, excuse me. Looks like the 63 is kind of, I wouldn't say he's falling off pace right now. I think he's trying to conserve. He went a little bit harder there earlier on, and I think he's trying to save now what he can. Going back up front though, we got Bryce Shoemaker here in the lead now. He was able to get around Derek Garrison, and I believe it was Cody Porter that he was battling as well, maybe, possibly. Bryce, after missing last week, is going to try and gain some stage points here. And that one playoff point. And right now ahead of him is Joseph Sullivan. He's trying to remain on the lead lap. We talked about him at the start of this race. Him trying to, what I assumed was not go too hard and save the tires as long as he could. Right now he's going to go a lap down though. And he's going to need to hope that Bryce and Rob don't catch anybody else to put them a lap down. Otherwise, this could jeopardize his strategy by quite a bit. And I understand his strategy. I think it's a really good strategy, to be honest. I don't like the idea of going a lap down. You see, he's really far off pace trying to conserve these tires, but I think, me personally, I would have at least tried to push enough to the point where I could stay ahead of these leaders by just a little bit. I know having two sets of tires kind of does affect that, but you never know. If these leaders are able to catch anybody in front of Joseph and put whoever that may be a lap down, then Joseph's kind of in this hole that he'd have to dig himself out of. And being a 120 lap race, it's not super long, but it's not super short either. And we'll have to see if this pays off for him in the long run or not. For the time being, these top 5 cars have pulled away from the second pack by quite a bit. Almost 4 seconds, put about 3.5 seconds right now. Rob trying to make a late move here on Bryce Shoemaker for the lead. He wants those stage points. A little bit of blinking going on, but that's not going to affect either of these guys too much. But don't count out Keith to Shoemaker, because with this battling, that's going to allow him to close up. Rob using that whole wall. He might have tagged it a little bit. Looks like he did, so he's going to be slowed up here by just a bit. So move Keith Shoemaker here to P2. Rob's continuing to have these blinking issues. That's going to allow Derek Garrison to catch up to his bumper and try and get this 3rd place away from him. That's never a good feeling when you're behind someone who has internet issues like that. You kind of can't really tell where they're going and what line to try and make a move on them. So I'm sure Derek's over the radio probably letting Rob know that he's blinking quite a bit, and if even that's probably just the bare minimum. He probably wants Rob to pit and try and get it fixed so he can get that position a little bit easier. But at the end of this lap, this should be the stage caution. So we'll go up here, see if any of these guys have anything for Bryce, but Bryce has kind of put a gap between him and 2nd place, Keith Shoemaker. So Bryce Shoemaker is going to be your stage 1 winner. And it looks like Keith was able to hold off these guys for 2nd, and Derek, I believe, got 3rd. With that, though, Joseph Sullivan should be the lucky dog. I don't see anybody else lap down, so it thankfully paid off for him here. Again, I don't really like going down a lap here this early, but we'll see if this is going to be able to play out for him. All right, majority of these leaders, I assume, are gonna, at least the top 5, I'm thinking might take tires here. They ran a little bit harder, so we'll have to see if they do or not. Bryce Shoemaker's gonna hit his pit marks. Looks like just fine and all right. I don't see the car being jacked up for a lot of these cars, actually, so it looks like a lot of fuel only. So give Bryce Shoemaker here the race off pit road, followed by Derek Garrison and then Cody Porter. Keith Shoemaker looks like he's going to lose a few spots. All right, so I said that we'd talk about this crazy finish that we had last year, so let's go to this. So this was last year, towards the end of last year. This is the last lap in the last corner. Had these guys side by side here, and you can see Jordan Trask there in the 9 was almost able to get away with it, but a 3-wide finish at the very end. So that's potentially something that we'll be able to see here tonight, depending on how this race plays out. But so far, it looks like we're going to at least be able to have a majority of these guys stay within a reasonable gap of each other. Alrighty, let's get ready to go back. Green flag racing here. Pace car is going to take the hard left turn once again. Bryce Shoemaker and Cody Porter are going to be able to lead them to green flag here. Bryce Shoemaker with the early advantage here. He's going to be able to clear Derek Garrison. You can see these guys fan out going into turns 1 and 2. 63 all over the 3's bumper right there, trying to get him a little bit loose. We got the 5 trying to pass the 60 and the 63 trying to pass the 3. 47 also looking up above the 3. A little bit of contact right there with the 47 and the 3. 47 got into the wall just a little bit. I don't think there's going to be much damage to that, as he almost hits it again. Able to keep it straight. Looks like Rob almost able to get to the outside right there. Not quite enough. Rob's still trying to make that high side work. Now he's going to look to the inside here of the 47, see if it's enough of a run. Again, still having those connection issues, but it looks like he's going to be able to clear the 47 now. Looks like Cody Porter's letting some of these guys who want to go now just letting them go on by. Rob Ham also able to pick up another position again, as well as the 60, to move him up to third as he's trying to go up to second place right now. He's using this high side as much as he can to his advantage. Not quite enough of a run to be able to get equally side by side. But he's going to send it in here deep. Hopefully get the run off. He's going to do the crossover. He's going to look inside now. Here comes Derek with this big run. He's going to be able to get to the back bumper. A lot of these guys are moving up now. Comes the 8 with a big run. He's going to try and put pressure on the 54, but the 99 is also going to be there to put pressure on him in the 8. Rob's all the way up there on that high side. Looks like Bryce had to check up quite a bit, so that's going to give these guys a big run. Here comes the 99. He's going to give a big shot to the 54 right here. Eight's going to send it in deep. Is he clear? I think he is. Looks like clear. Here comes Rob, 3 wide. Thought about it. Not quite. He backed out of it. Probably a smart move there. Don't want to risk it. It's too early on for that. Bryce says he wants that lead back, so he's going to be looking to the high side here again, trying to gain some momentum. Not enough of a run there for him to make anything happen, but that 99 is really using that high side quite well. He's been able to get some really decent runs these past couple laps and put pressure on the 54. The 54 looks like he's kind of struggling right now. I'm not sure if it's a tight, like a right front tight sort of entry to mid, or if it's mid to exit, but he's been having to back it up to try and get it to rotate quite a bit. And right here, the 99 is going to be able to get that run where the 54 can't really make anything happen on that high side. Move Bryce. He's trying to experiment with some lanes. Looks like maybe trying to throw in block. Not quite clear. Here comes the 99 to the high side. Should be able to clear him here. That 99 car is fast on the high side. He's able to use it quite a bit. 60 car just tapped the wall there. Not a lot to slow him down, but he did tap it, looks like. Looks like Bryce Shoemaker is kind of struggling right now. He's going backwards quite quickly. Now getting passed by the 6 of Nick Wood here to move him back to 7th position. Nick got a big run there coming off the exit of turn 4, so he's going to be able to get to the outside of Derek Garrison here. See if he is able to use any of this momentum that he gained to get even more to the outside. Right there, almost gone bad again. But the 99 is going to be able to clear him just fine and move the 99 of Rob Kemp to the lead. Oh, and the 99 got that wall. That's something that you need to watch out for. He was running up there really good. And just one mistake, just one overdrive, and he's in the wall, and he's going to lose that lead. So now he's going to have to go back to work trying to get it back. But again, you can't make those mistakes if you want to be in the lead and have that clean air advantage, as there's 3 wide behind him. Put the 77 in the middle there. That's Caleb shouting. Bryce Shoemaker looks like he's kind of found his rhythm again. Working around 77, trying to work around the 60 now as well. Still side by side here at the line. See if the 54 is able to get clear. It looks like he is. He's going to continue to stay up on that high side though, so it looks like a lot of these guys have tried to move up and make this high side work. Caleb Shelton in the middle, 3 wide again. And here comes Joseph Kazi. As I say that, Eric Garrison trying to look back to the inside, trying to take that position back from Joseph Kazi. Joseph Kazi is going to be able to hold strongly on the outside and retake that position back from Eric Garrison. Joseph Kazi, he's been one of them 2 dominant cars this season. Him and Reese Schaefer have won every single race so far. But tonight, so far, everybody's been trying to prove that it's not just the Kazi and Reese show. So we'll see if Joseph has anything to say before this race is over. And Rob Hamp is able to get back to the lead here. He's able to, as I said, he's kind of blinking, but he's able to use that high side to his advantage that he was earlier. Nick Wood getting pressure from the 60 car here. That 60 of Stefan Davis is trying to make that lower line work. Looks like it's not enough here as the 6 car is able to get that bigger run off the high side and pretty much clear him. I'm sure Nick Wood isn't really wanting to go down to that bottom and kind of just wants to hang up there and maintain that higher side advantage for the time being. So that's going to kind of affect the 60s time to get around him. It's going to take a little bit longer. As I said, that it actually looks like he's able to clear up. Will he take the spot? Yes, he will. So move the 60 car up to P3. Derek Garrison trying to get that lead back from Rob here. Nick's trying to pinch him, or Rob's trying to pinch him. Not enough for Derek to keep up the momentum, so now he's going to get pressure from the 60 car here. Again, just those sudden movements where you lose the high side. You can see there's just cars behind cars on this high line that are going to probably freight train you by, and so you kind of need to get up to that outside line. And if you're going to make a move to the inside line, you kind of got to be smart about it and find those gaps where you have time to make a move and then can jump back in line if you need to defend. Joseph Kazi is making his way up through the field slowly but steadily. He's up to P5, trying to get around Nick Wood here. Here comes the 60 car looking inside of the 99. Derek M. Garrison there on the bottom, 3 wide for a moment. Now back to 2 wide. Derek Garrison there stuck on that inside lane, trying to get it to work. Really difficult there when the car above you kind of pinches you or has to check up and then you get stalled out. So Joseph Kazi is going to be able to take advantage of that move from Derek Garrison. He's going to be able to get around him pretty quick. Set sail on the 6 car, not quite enough. The outside line still having that just a little bit momentum. '77 able to clear the 8 there as well to move Derek M. Garrison back to 6th position. Kazi trying to side draft that 6 car, not able to get up to him quite as well as I think he would have hoped. But he's going to waste no time going back to try and get around him, as they're both in the wall right there, the 60 and the 6. Here comes Kazi with a deep dive into turn 1, trying to get around the 60 car. Not quite enough there. I think Nick kind of realizes that Joseph Kazi's quite a bit quicker than him, so he's not going to try and battle him too much and actually try and help him out there on that back straightaway by giving him a little bit of a shove. Oh, Nick or Rob Hamp there in the wall again. A little bit of contact, and these guys are gonna wreck. And caution is out here for the first time tonight. Let's go back and take a look here. See if we can rewind it a little bit, actually. So it's this blinking that I was talking about earlier. Sometimes you get net code, and it looks like once Rob, yeah, kind of. It looks like just a little bit of contact made there, and just around the go. Fortunate for the 60 car, he was doing really good up until that point. That's gonna put a probably, I'm not sure if it's the end of his night. I think he still should be fine. We got one fast repair, but that's gonna definitely affect him as he had to tow. So again, it looks like this blinking is going to continue on with Rob, which is kind of going to affect these guys, like we just saw that incident. 60 was trying to check up and get around Rob and not trying to spin him out. And unfortunately, it looks like it caused an incident behind him. And now with this caution, It looks like a lot of these guys took tires. I believe a lot of these guys took tires the first time tonight. And so with these guys being back on fresher tires, it's going to kind of even out this playing field again. We'll have to see if any of these guys, like maybe Joseph Kazi or Cody Porter, try and drop back a little bit just so they can save that tire for the longer run. All right, we're going to get ready to send these guys off again. Nick Wood, Rob Ham on the inside, or on the front row. Green flag back in the air. Side by side, pretty even battle going to turn 1. Give Rob the advantage here. Joseph Kazi trying to go for the lead now as well. He should be able to get a fairly decent run here. Looks like he will be able to clear the field here. Followed by Derek M. Garrison here in second place now. Rob up there stuck on that outside lane, kind of getting shuffled back with his continued blinking. Guys trying to get around him. I'm sure Rob's also trying to be courteous and not be in the way of some of these guys. Little contact there from the 77 and 17. Almost sent the 77 around. Able to hang on to it, though. The racing has gotten pretty intense here now that these guys are back on fresher tires. Caleb Shelton able to get to the outside here of Jordan Trask. Jordan Trask getting shuffled just a bit there on that inside lane. Here comes the 63 to make it 3 wide on him. All the way down to the apron, using all this track to his advantage. So give the position to the 63 and the 6 as it sorts out. Jordan Trask back to 8th position. Now actually going to try and get back that 7th position from Johnny in that 63 car. And we got a new race leader. Derek Garrison got around Joseph Kazi. Derek Garrison trying to put a stop to the Kazi show here. See if he's able to hold him off here for these last half of the race. Or if maybe Joseph Kazi is just trying to save a bit and work his way slowly back by him later on. Got a whole mess going on back here for this about 10th-ish so position. 3 wide back there, the 54, the 37, and the 10, I believe that is. They're able to figure it out, go back side by side, going into turn 1. And as I say that, Bryce Shoemaker goes back to the outside, trying to get around the 57. 57 is able to give him enough room, saw him just in time. A little bit of contact right there. Jordan Berry got the 57 of Joseph Sullivan, just a little bit of a nudge, and that was almost bad for him. But he's able to hold on to it pretty good. We've got a really big jumble of a mess here for about, I'd say, from 9th to 15th. We got a lot of these guys trying to sort it out still. Everybody trying to get as much as they can here while they still have that tired advantage to their names. Justice Sullivan there, able to get that big run and able to get around the 37 pretty easy. I said it earlier, he's my pick and my threat that we're going to have to watch. And after that strategy of saving and being off pace, that first stage, looks like he's trying to make that rebound and put that strategy to use right now. For the meantime, though, we're going to go to commercial break. We're going to do side-by-side so you guys don't miss anything. If there is anything that happens, I will come immediately right back. I don't have the ticker working, unfortunately, for that quite yet, but I'll make sure that we see as much action as we can.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Freedom Racing Sunday Night Series here at Chicagoland Speedway for 120 laps. We're getting down to it. We still have to make one more pit stop here, and that'll be coming up very shortly, I assume. I fully think that we are going to see a lot of these guys take tires here in this next pit stop. I don't think these guys are going to save that last set because of how green this race has been so far. I don't want to jinx it. That can always change. We could see a caution, and then typically cautions breed cautions, as some of these guys in real life and other announcers like to say. So if you are the wild card and you do want to save that extra set just in case we do get a caution, then you may be in the catbird seat. Again, considering this race has gone fairly green so far, I don't really see anybody playing too much strategy. Our one driver who has played the most strategy so far is actually Joseph Sullivan. He's here in 11th position. He's working his way back up through the field. Currently working on Bryce Shoemaker here was up front early on, led a handful of laps, but has now kind of slowly faded back to the outside the top 10 as they actually go 3 wide here. A little bit of contact right there. The 57, the 54 get just a little bit close for comfort. Joseph able to get a pretty decent run there. Able to clear himself in front of the 54 now. So now move Joseph Sullivan into the top 10. And Joseph Kazi was able to get around Derek Garrison here for the race lead. Hasn't really pulled away from the field too much. Derek holding strong. Cody Porter here in 3rd place, as well as Caleb Schouten. He's been up in the top 8 pretty much all night, trying to have a better season. Hasn't had the greatest start to the season, but he's been so far pretty consistent tonight and looking to hold that top 5 position to his name. The 04 able to get to the outside of the 8 there. He gave the 8 a little bit of a shot there going to the corner there, and got the 8 just a little bit loose, which then allowed the 04 to get around him and have that high side advantage. A lot of these guys going back up to this higher side, trying to make this work. It's later in the run. Still have to pit here soon, so I think a lot of these guys are going to try and get as much as they can out of their car right now. Especially if you've saved up until now, then you kind of have a little bit more tire to work with. Oh, a little bit of contact right there with the 77 and the 63. Great save by the 77. as they go 3 wide here for the moment into turns 3 and 4. Caleb Shelton, he's been the middleman all night. We've seen him in the middle of 3 wide. I think this is his 3rd or 4th time so far. I'm sure he's used to it, maybe not enjoying it quite as much as we are. Cody Porter here looking to the inside of the 3, see if he's able to have enough speed. Doesn't look like it, so he'll have to go back to work here around the 3. Comes a 63 as well. Reese Schaefer, he's been pretty quiet up until this point. Hasn't done a whole lot. He's been kind of riding, and I think he's at this point where it's kind of go time, and when he gets that go time in his head, then he's a real threat, and he's going to be one here that is probably going to be, I'd assume he'll probably be able to take the lead here fairly shortly, knowing him, as the 6 got a little bit of the wall behind him. Didn't lose too much time, but he definitely did hit the wall. Joseph Kazi leaning on that door of Cody Porter in the 04. Maybe a little bit of contact there. Reese Schaefer, Joseph Kazi's teammate, trying to go up there to help. Leaning on each other right now. Not giving each other a lot of room. And that's going to put the 0-4-3 in. A little bit of contact made, and they're wrecking for the lead here. But we saw live, that was drivers leaning on each other, trying to get as much out as they could. Reese Schaefer involved. Looks like he had to tow Cody Porter. Joseph Kazi here with a lot of front end damage. Go back and take a look while these guys get it sorted out. Oh, that is unfortunate. That is the wrong. Go back and see if we can actually get the right one here. Yeah, so it started here. I'd say probably started here on the backstretch. These guys were really battling super hard, leaning on each other right here. And it kind of continued out through the front stretch quite a bit. Jordan Trask was able to get that running in the inside and just trying to side draft, and unfortunately it went wrong and collected all 3 of these faster guys. 04 probably got the least amount of damage out of that. Reese ended up stopping here. Looks like he had a broken left front. Joseph Kazi, we saw him. A lot of front end damage. That's the kind of racing that I was kind of expecting to see, and like I said, if you have that late race caution, which it's not really too late in the race, we didn't quite make those pit stops that I was talking about. So these guys, I assume majority of these guys are going to take tires here, or did take tires there at that pit stop, and it's going to be a race for these next 20-ish laps. So new players up here. Bryce Shoemaker back up here. Aaron K, Justin Day, Jordan Trask. He was able to make it through and get the lead right there. Pace car is going to take the hard left turn here. Into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Good launch by the 9 car. He's going to be able to clear the field pretty well here. '63 able to suck back up onto the back bumper, and we got a caution. We got a big pile up here. Looks like we got a car sideways. I think that was a 37, the 88, the 10, Jordan Berry. He's got a lot of right front damage. It's a big hit by a lot of these guys. Nick Wood as well. Looks like Nick Wood is sparking on the right front too, possibly right rear. Could be wrong. It could be the left side. Actually, it looks like the left front. You can see it's not really moving right there. So quite a bit of cars involved in this wreck right here. All right, well, let's try and figure out where this started. Oh, looks like just some guys trying to make it 3-4 wide. A little bit of checkup right there. Sent the 37 up and over. Collect the 9, the 5. And just carnage here on this backstretch coming out of turn 2. See if we can get another look here. Well, right on board with Jordan Berry here, who had a hard hit. You see the 37 just come right over and just carnage from here on out. So like I said, cautions, read cautions, and that was a good example right there. I believe this should be the choose. We haven't done a choose camera yet, so we'll go hit it here. Inside, outside for a lot of these guys. Your leader, Jordan Trask, took the inside again. Bryce Shoemaker also took the inside again. So that'll give Johnny the outside again. And he got a fairly good 1 and 2 and was able to get beside Jordan almost. We'll see if these guys can make it a little bit farther this time by, though. All right, let's try this again. Coming to 17 laps to go. Jordan Trask, Johnny Avila on the front row. Bryce Shoemaker in third, trying to give a good bump right there to Jordan. Not quite the start he wanted. That's going to hurt the inside lane quite a bit. 63 and the 3 were able to get hooked up, and they're going to get a good run here going to turn 1 and 2. 3 all over the 63's bumper. Got him quite a bit loose, but so far so good. Those 3 on the top side really hooked up. A little bit of contact there with the 9 and the 04, I believe it was. After starting first, Jordan Trask is now fighting for 4th position. Potentially going to lose 5th. Some blinking going on by Johan now. Looks like it was just momentarily though, so everything should be okay. Here comes Joseph Sullivan. '63 able to get around Joseph Kazi here. Or sorry, he did have the position, so he's able to actually defend Joseph Kazi as the 04 is trying to get around now the 3. And we got another caution. And we'll see where this one came from. I'm not quite sure, to be quite honest with you, where it actually came from. See if maybe we can find something here. I'm not quite sure, to be quite honest with you. I don't quite see anything here, so I am going to take some time and try and find that when we go back live. If I get anything, then I will be sure to update. All right, well, we're gonna come back to the choose start finish line. Not quite choose cone that we do in real life. iRacing hasn't really implemented that quite yet for us, so we have a choose start finish line, and we'll go back to this camera. Got a few guys that actually pitted here. Looks like some guys, the guys that didn't take any tires that caution about 10-15 laps ago. Looks like they're taking their set now here. So that might be an advantage for some of these other guys. But again, it's going to depend. If we keep getting these cautions here, we only have 12 laps to go, and that's not a lot of time if you have that extra set of tires. That you're gonna have to make quick work of that and try and make what you can happen. This is where we're gonna see more, probably 3 and 4 wide, potentially more crashes, harder and tighter racing. All right, out of turn 4. Let's see if these guys are able to keep it clean and green from here on out, or if maybe we'll get a few more cautions. Green flag back in the air. 11 laps to go at the start and finish line. That 04 and 63 hooked up on that high side. 3 of Joseph Kazi trying to make that inside lane work. Able to get to the inside there. Really late sends. These guys are fanning out, trying to get as much track position as they can. The 04 got a little bit loose right there. The 3 is going to be on his door tight, and here comes Joseph Sullivan looking to make it 3 wide. Still 3 wide here as we come off of turn 2. A little bit of check up from the 3 and the 04. That's going to allow the 8 now to get to the outside. 57 now clear. These guys still 3 wide, leaning on each other back here. A little bit of a door shot right there from the 04 to the 3. The 8 trying to get around the 57. That's going to be a tight exit right there. 57 knew it, and he's going to give the 8 the lane to work with. Now the 57 looking to the inside. He's going to wash up a little bit. He's going to have to stall out. And there's a little bit of contact made. Around goes the 63. No caution, keeping it green though. So far, and never mind. We do have a big pile up here on the front stretch now. Numerous cars involved here again late in this race. Jordan Trask, one of the guys involved, not a lot of damage, but you can kind of see in that shot right there, he had a little bit of right front damage. It's a little bit caved up. Shouldn't affect him too much, but he's probably going to want to come in and try and get that fixed. Actually, it might be worse than we think. Looks like it's quite a bit up and looks like it's kind of knocked out. All right, we'll see if we can go back and figure out where exactly it started. I know it started with the 63, kind of getting a little bit of contact here made from the... Yeah, it looks like a lot of these guys just... Oh boy. The first initial wreck, and then it looks like after that just guys trying to avoid, and Justice Sullivan still trying to save it, and a little bit of contact there from the 04. Rob Hamp there, 99 to 3, and just collects a whole lot of these other guys behind him. Really nowhere for some of these guys to go. Kind of unfortunate that we had a lot of these guys get torn up. '63 looks like he pitted there for what looks, or what I assume would be a little bit of damage fix. Maybe feel could potentially be tires. I don't think he would have tires at this point, but that's going to move Derek Garrison here and Johan up to the front row here. Aaron Alt here in position 3 as well. We haven't talked about him too much, but he's found himself up here late, being able to avoid most of these wrecks. These guys are going to choose here. Majority of these guys looks like they're going to go to the bottom lane. Some guys going top, trying to gain what they can here in these next final laps. All right, folks, 4 laps to go. Not quite over yet. Could potentially see another caution. We'll have to wait and see what comes out of these next 3 laps. Pace car is going to take this hard left turn. Green flag back in the air. Derek Garrison's going to be able to get a good launch on that inside lane. Clear the 56 by quite a bit. Here comes the 2 car with help from the 99. That 99 still blinking just a little bit. But at this point, he's kind of got to go. 3 wide, the 2, the 99, the 6. Able to figure it out for the most part. A little bit of 3 wide action back here. And in the wall, Johan's around. Caution again. Not too many cars involved this time. Looks like just a simple single car spin. We'll go back and take a look at it either way. Oh, that's the wrong bookmark. Apologies, folks. So, started with a big block from the 8, and they both just kind of washed up. The 99 again with those blinking issues. That's unfortunate. Looks like that collected. The 56 just appeared, unfortunately, kind of out of nowhere. Nothing really he could have done. Like I said, big block there from the 8, and unfortunately the 99 blinked out at the wrong time and just sent the 56. Well, actually, a few other guys did get collected. Looks like Caleb Shelton got some damage. For the most part, though, it was mainly just a block gone wrong, followed by a net code at the worst possible time. So we're going to stack these guys up again. This is going to be our overtime attempt. At least one of these overtime attempts. We have I think we have a few. I can't quite remember. I apologize. Can't remember if we have overtime, unlimited overtime, or if we have 3. I do believe it is unlimited. So if things have gone the way that they have the past 15, 20 laps, then we could be in here for a little bit longer. But either way, this is going to be a really good finish. There's going to be a lot of these guys hungry for a win. Joseph Causey, Reese Schaefer, a little bit ways back. Some of these guys, like maybe a Nick Wood, Jim Foskett in the 47, trying to make something happen, trying to get a win here. Derek Garrison, he's pretty fast. So I don't think this is a must-win situation, but if you're maybe a little bit on the struggle bus at a few different tracks, you want to try and take advantage now as much as you can. Already getting ready to take the green flag again. Derek Garrison, Aaron Alt on the front row here. Nick Wood, Bryce Shoemaker on the second row. Pace cars off into the restart zone, and we're off. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go here. Derek Garrison with another good restart here. Nick Wood and Aaron Alt are going to be fighting for second place here now. These guys fanning out behind them, trying to get the most of what they can. Here comes Reese Schaefer on the bottom side now. He's looking high, able to get clear of the 2. A little bit of contact again. They're saving it. No, they're wrecking here. The 2 is flipping. We got carnage, but white flag is out. Racing back to the line, side by side. Here comes the 54, looking to make it 3 wide for the race. Is he going to be able to clear them all? The 54 is clear. Is it going to be enough at the start-finish line? At the line, big block. Around goes the 17, and Bryce Shoemaker is going to be your race winner here. How about that race, folks? What a finish. That was exciting. Congrats to Bryce Shoemaker. He's going to be pumped up when we talk to him in a moment. I'll pop up the top 15 results so you guys can see here. A lot of guys flip-flopped here in that last lap with that big wreck, but it doesn't matter because Bryce Shoemaker was able to hold on and get around all that carnage and take the win with a last lap move. All right, well, while we wait for Bryce Shoemaker to wrap up, we are going to go get a word with P2 finisher, Reese Schaefer. See if we can pull him up here. Hey, Reese. You got me?
Yes, sir, Oscar. I got you, buddy.
Alrighty. Well, that was a heck of a finish. You had a few close calls there. You actually came from the back about, what, 15, well, what seems like 15 laps ago. It was more probably like 20 laps ago. How did you make it through that carnage there in those last, what felt like I said, 20 laps?
Yeah, no idea. Just, from the grace of God, just pure luck, I was able to not only absolutely get my toe length decimated on lap like 100, but then I threw it in the pits, towed as fast as I could, so I was only 2 laps down. As soon as I came out per road, a caution came out. Then it was 1 down, another caution came out, and then I got my tires. And then another caution came out, and I was able to manage my way up to P8. And then another one came out, and then I restarted 6th. And at the end, they all wrecked behind me, and I had green grass in front of me, and I was like, oh my god, it's going to be me and Eric, Garrison for the win. And then I thought Garrison would go black Bryce, but he messed with me, and Bryce got the run, and Bryce got his first win. So, yeah. We'll take P2 all day. We probably should have finished 20th, and we will run out of here with the money that we stole.
Well, like you said money stole. I think I think a lot of drivers are happy to potentially not see you or Joseph Kazi in victory lane for once. You did it. You were pretty much there and almost had it. Now tonight was kind of I'd say it was kind of like a weird night. We started off really green flag racing, and then there towards the end we got caution fest. And from your strategy point, it looked like you're trying to save and play those two tire sets the way that I imagined. How much was that of a relief, or maybe not a relief, when you had those late cautions there at the very end and trying to manage or trying to figure out which time or which pit stop you actually wanted to take tires, if you did have a set, that I should add.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you actually did have a set, but I assume you did.
Yeah, I got you. So I did have a set because on lap 30 I did not pit for tires, and then we came out and my tires were 91, so I really saved that first stage and go for points. And I then after the stage I kept saving a little bit, and then the crossover really started to happen. And I knew we were pretty good on fuel, but I was saving a little bit during the second run just because I wanted to pit as late as possible to get the freshest tires. And then the caution did come out with I think it was 65 something to go, and so finally got my first set of the race. Drove up to the front. That's when I got into the trouble, and then that's when obviously we talked about getting my 2 laps back and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I knew that saving a set for this race, especially with the way this track is, it's damn near a plate track, so you just need tires as much as possible. So the mindset coming in was save a set, and that's exactly what we did.
Well, that you did, and you're able to play the cards right and end up almost having the win. Just got outbeat at the last few turns. Going on to next week, Pocono, you're pretty decent there, I think. Does anything still change? I mean, I know we've kind of talked about it the past, what seems like 3-4 weeks at this point. Does anything change strategy wise, or do you just keep doing what you've been doing?
I would say for Pocono, it's actually a little bit funny. I would say we're probably not knowing the fuel strategy. I've raced probably in my league racing career probably 10, 12 Pocono races, and almost 6 or 7 have come down to fuel mileage. So, which is really bizarre for that track, and it's just kind of the way it's been. So, it wouldn't shock me if we have another situation where, caution hits just right, and guys gotta save fuel, and it's about keeping your pace up and having fuel mileage. So that track especially, you want to work with teammates because you can draft tandem away from everybody if you work right. So, and pit stops are huge. It's one of those tracks where if you're by yourself and not in the draft, you will lose time every lap because the straightaways are so long, and this car has so much draft. So definitely need to work with teammates next week. And other than that, yeah, just kind of stay out of trouble, the usual. Start up front, stay up front, stay out of trouble. 3 yeses, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, fuel mileage and you will definitely be a threat if it comes down to that. And I look forward to seeing you find your way potentially in victory lane again next week. Before I let you go, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, before I go, I'd like to always shout out the boys, Kazi, Aaron, Jordan, Johan. I always love racing with them. I always love hanging out with the teammates. It's super, super fun. I'd like to thank my girlfriend. I always love to watch the podcast back, Emily, and my dad. Always love to watch it, and same with my grandpa. And love it. Always shout out the family. They always they support me, and I love supporting. I love doing what I do, and they love supporting me. So it's always so much fun. And shout out Mid Michigan Move producers on the car, as always. And I'd like to shout out you, Oscar, for putting on a great show. I can't wait to watch it back.
Thank you, Reese. It means a lot. Hopefully talk to you next week, and congrats on the P2 finish. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, Oscar. Appreciate it as always, man. Have a good night.
All right, folks, that was Reese, P2 finisher. He's been the weapon and one that you've had to outbeat so far this whole season. And what driver did it tonight? Bryce Shoemaker. So let's go ahead and get him up here. Bryce Shoemaker, do you got a coffee?
Yeah, I got you.
Congrats on the win, buddy. How'd you do that? How'd you pull that off?
Oh man, I have no idea. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like I blacked out that last lap. I never am in position to win these, and I restarted P4 there. I'm surprised so many people chose the inside line there on the choose. So, I mean, that helped big time. And then I know they wrecked coming to the white flag, and the caution never got thrown for some reason. But after that, I knew I had the 4 fresh tires. That was part of the strategy. I struggled really bad in the long run, so I knew I had to do something different. And it just worked out perfectly. Derek was a great teammate. He side drafted the ever living, you know what, out of Reese, and it got me to make me that 3-wide move. And then from there, I have no idea. I had Derek shouting in my ear to clear high, and I didn't even know I was clear. So, man, I'm just so freaking pumped right now. I never win these. I finally get another one done, and it wasn't at Bristol with like 8 drivers. So I had to hold off Reese. It was a 20-plus car field. I mean, this is probably my biggest win I've ever gotten. So, I'm hyped right now.
Well, you have every right to be hyped. I am hyped for you by quite a bit. I did ask you victory lane question mark, I believe, either last night or maybe 2 days ago, and you kind of doubted yourself, but here we find you in victory lane. So congrats on the win. This is kind of a turning point for your season. You kind of had a few. You've had, I believe, 2 top 5 finishes, and then had a few off weeks here and there. Is this kind of like the turning point now for you?
Well, I mean, we won the stage tonight. The first stage felt great. I felt great with long ride, but the middle part that was discouraging. I couldn't keep the right front of the car. But then I knew what I had to do with the strategy. Like I knew that saving that last set of tires when everyone pitted there with about 30 to go. I knew saving that set of tires. I knew I was going to get a position from there. But then I started down a little bit because you know how these races go with low horsepower, high downforce. It's basically super speedway racing. The field kind of beamed it up there then, so it was caution after caution. So I was a little worried I didn't have the tires there because we were running pace laps. But once those shoes happened, the choose code was just huge for me tonight. That's why it got me up in that position. And from there, I had confidence I could get it done, even though I'm not gonna lie, I blacked out there. But I do. I have a lot of confidence right now. I'm feeling great. You've already mentioned it. We've already got top 5, top 10s already going. So I think for the first time ever, I do. I have a lot of momentum on my side. So hopefully we keep on knocking these finishes out. get a good regular season finish, get playoff points. Because I mean, Reese and Joseph just feel unbeatable right now. They had everything happen to them. Reese was like 2 laps down earlier in the race, and right there, I had to hold them off at the finish. So like they could have the worst luck, and they'll still be up there at the end. So we just got to keep the momentum going, and hopefully we can defend these guys a little bit more and start racking up playoff points.
I like the sound of that, Bryce. I am so happy that you're able to get a win here. Um, and I look forward to seeing you carry this hopefully momentum over to Pocono next week. How's that track for you?
Oh man, we're going to Pocono. I think you might have just already ruined the hype there. Pocono is not a strong track for me. I'm not good at those big flat tracks. So if we get a top 10, I'm gonna celebrate like it was a win there. Top 10 is the goal there. Not sure what's up after that, but I feel like it would be better than Pocono. So yeah, I feel if we get a top 10, if we get stage points, that'd be huge too. Besides that, I think that's gonna be a Reese, Joseph. I think Johan. If Cody Porter's back, he'll be up there, I think. But yeah, just top 10. I think that would build off the momentum. You know, try to knock off the top 10s at the tracks you're not good at. You get just as hyped as a win. So that would be the goal for the Pocono.
Well, hopefully you stop doubting yourself and are able to hold your head high. Before I let you go celebrate this win, is there anything else you'd like to say or add?
I just want to thank all the admins and coders, Joseph and Derek. They helped me a lot tonight. Choose code, obviously, it's a busy time and try to clear the blacks after that while you're trying to race as well. Thank every driver. It got a little messy there at the end, but besides that, before that happened, it was a very clean. Everyone was respectful for that part. So I mean, sloppy ending, but it was a great race overall. Everyone raced with respect before those final cautions, and gotta thank them all for showing up. You know, we did Long Beach. Obviously, it was like a 13-car field, so as a league owner, you know, you get worried about the field size after, you know, those wild card races, but we come back Chicagoland, 23 drivers. That's huge. I'm really happy everyone showed up tonight. Gotta thank you for broadcasting. I'm gonna watch this probably a million times back. So thank you. You're doing an amazing job. Wouldn't even be able to tell that you're new because you're doing a very good job professionally, and I'm loving it. Besides that, I got nothing else. Got to thank the teammates, especially Derek for being the spotter there on that last lap. But besides that, just very thankful for everything going on right now.
Glad to hear it, Bryce. I'm glad everything sounds good. Congrats on your win yet again. Go celebrate and have some fun.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that was your race winner, Bryce Shoemaker. I am very personally pumped up for him. He's been working hard and he always doubts himself, but I know he has these wins in him, and it's just finding that little bit of an oomph for him. And I look forward to seeing what he can do for the rest of the season. Before we wrap anything up, I'm going to get Derek Garrison in here. Hey, Derek. You got a copy
What's
there?
up, Oscar? What's
What's
up?
up, Derek? Well, that was the crazy finish. That was that I wasn't expecting kind of like a repeat from last season, but you're right there with it. Tell me a little bit about your race.
Yeah, it went good. We kept car up top five all week. I mean, all day. So I think that was the name of the game. Uh, but, but yeah, it was all right. A little aggressive, but had fun.
Yeah, I heard you were kind of helping Bryce out there as well towards the end, kind of giving him a little bit of maybe advice and a little bit of extra spotting help. When you have a teammate in there and you maybe don't so much have as good as a shot as he does, how does that change like your aspect when
Uh,
driving?
I know. When you realize you ain't gonna win, you kind of pull for the other guy that, especially Bryce. Bryce created this league. He's a good guy. So I didn't want another repeat winner. So Bryce deserves that. Did a good job.
Yes, he did. Um, you've kind of had a quiet season. You haven't really had too bad of a season. You've just kind of been like a middleman so far. And being able to compete there with Reese and Kazi and almost beat him for the win. Um, I think you're. I've told you this before, and you kind of just brush it off. But I think you're one of the favorites going into the season here.
I don't know, man.
Does that put any pressure on you?
No, not really. I just get on here and have fun, man. I think tonight was one of the best nights I had in a long time. But I don't even know where we're going next week. But
Pocono.
we'll see. Yeah, Pocono. Okay. Yeah, we'll see how the season plays out. Try to get all the points we can throughout the regular season and go from there. But no pressure.
Well, I like the sounds of that. You are just laid back and chilled and don't let anything get to you.
That's
You're-
right.
All right. Well, before I let you go there, is there anything you'd like to say or add?
Yeah. First, thank you for stepping out of the car and doing the broadcast. It's pretty cool having somebody every week doing a broadcast, and especially in like good resolution and all that good stuff. Bryce, for having everybody come together and have a racing every week. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. Uh, and I think that's about it, man.
Alrighty. Well, I'll let you go. Congrats on the P3 finish. I look forward to hopefully talking to you next week. I think you're going to be a sleeper at Pocono. You've had really good races there. But I'll let you go and enjoy your night.
All right, man. See you.
See ya. All right, that was your top 3 finishers there. Congrats to Bryce Shoemaker on the win again. We had a really good finish. A lot of carnage there towards the end. Nothing less than what I kind of expected. Honestly, I did not expect, out of all things, for us to have that close of a finish and that late of a pass for the lead. But other than that, we look forward to going to Pocono next week. That's going to be an entertaining race. I think we'll get another decent race out of it. That's going to be 75 laps. And see if Bryce can go defend his race win. Until next week, though, I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Either watching live or watching it back. I can't wait for next week. I'm happy that our broadcasting has kind of been figured out. I still have a few flaws here and there, but for the most part, I am happy with what we've been able to present, and I hope that I'm able to bring a good viewing for you guys out there. Until then, have a good rest of your evening, night, day, wherever you are, and we hope to see you guys again next.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.